Before joining Unstoppable Linked Coach program, I was trying to build a business and looking for a lot of having to kind of muddle my way through the many kind of options and opportunities that were presenting themselves to me. And I found that I was struggling to have a comprehensive and coherent strategy that would help me to build the business, start to build my credibility, but also to build a successful brand that would attract clients. It was at an early point in the startup of my coaching business, but I was finding that I was just a bit kind of scattered and chasing after more than I probably should be to get a strategic advantage and kind of build the business in a thoughtful and future oriented way. What brought me to the Unstoppable Linked Coach program was the desire to understand how I could first use my LinkedIn profile and the other kind of digital assets that I had to start to tell the story of my business, my coaching approach, and my proposition in a way that was differentiated and that would attract like-minded clients that I could work with. I had a secondary kind of need, which was to build a community and start to connect with people who are at a similar state in their business, and to have the support from experienced leaders in the space who could guide me through what I was experiencing and help me make some of the decisions that I was being faced with every day. So it was kind of a threefold approach: the need to do the best work I could on LinkedIn to attract clients and build my credibility, to have a supportive community to share best practices with and to kind of support me along the way and keep me accountable. And then the third was to benefit from the expert coaches and thought leaders kind of within those spaces, so I could also have the encouragement and support from a professional perspective too. So my game at the beginning of the program was to define what my presence should be on LinkedIn and in kind of a wider digital footprint. And that was really important for me because I see the potential of LinkedIn. I know that it's a source where I'm creating clients and I'm connecting with people, and I'm able to tell my story. I'm able to be inspired by others. And I did not have the confidence to make the right decisions and to focus in the right way. So really focusing on understanding the best way of using LinkedIn was the game from day one. And for me, LinkedIn is not a hygiene factor. It is a useful, important, connective, like kind of engaged platform that suits my client base and the work I do very well. And I felt I was not showing up well there at all. So I just needed to find my way through that to use it to the best advantage I could. I had seen various statements and posts from various people who'd been involved in the program, both Tina and Adrian, and then some of those who'd been through the program, and had actually attended a call and workshop from an earlier kind of connection to the company. And when I began thinking about what I wanted to do and focusing the building of my coaching business along with getting coaching support and tackling LinkedIn, then the emails and posts that I had registered for in those earlier connections then became to be really relevant. So it was a great place to start and have a chat and learn a little bit more about the program, and really looking to the posts that both Adrian and Tina were making to kind of get more information was how I decided to then get in touch and learn a bit more. I was concerned that it would be an investment that I would not, get the value from. I think as a new coach, and I imagine it's the same for many business owners, there are so many kind of snake oil salesmen out there, people who are peddling promises to get things done really quickly, to make six figures within a month, that cutting through that sometimes is very, very difficult. And there's so many legitimate programs as well, but it's often hard to kind of differentiate which is legitimate, which is going to be effective, and which would work well for me. I have a very specific kind of way of working, and looking at a vision for my business. So I also wanted something that was going to resonate and connect with me. And what I really then appreciated was the breadth of the program and understanding that I could cover a few of those bases: creating the community, getting the expert support, getting the coaching support when I just needed, a bit more on, let's say, kind of the behavior and the confidence and the resilience to build my own business beyond the practical tools to do it. So when I then started to speak a little bit more with the team, then that was when I began to see that this would be an investment that could work very well for me, as long as I was also willing to put the effort in and truly engage with the program. And, frankly, I, at the time, felt that even if it was just the practical skills I would gain from it, then it would be worth the investment, because I would learn more about how LinkedIn works, how I could be using that to extend my proposition, how I could use it to build a network and a potential pipeline of clients. And then when I then started to experience more of the community side and the wonderful support from Tina, Adrian, and Greg, then I saw that the let's say the emotional and the kind of the mental support was absolutely there as well. So that was a pleasant surprise. And then the wonderful community around them. So I've made a lot of new connections who are now friends, and so we support each other too. So it was a bit of a leap of faith in the investment, but once I started into the program, then very quickly I began to see the value of it, and it was more than I even expected in that respect. So that's very nice. I think the biggest shift in me was the confidence to start to show up as I wanted to on LinkedIn, and to use it as a way to tell my story, to connect with others and learn their stories, and to build those relationships, and to be much more present and active and intentional with what I was doing. And I was, a little bit trepidatious at the beginning. I didn't use a great deal of social media. I hadn't had a need for it. I'd kind of let things kind of go, particularly on LinkedIn. When you're gainfully and permanently employed, it's easy to let things like that slide. So I really had to change my mindset about LinkedIn, and the calls and group coaching sessions, as well as the one-on-one support I received from Adrian and Tina and Greg, really helped me to get into the headspace of being much less concerned around what was maybe holding me back in terms of how I was maybe showing up, or worrying what people would think, or that it was wasted effort. And that was the biggest shift. Is just starting to think of it as a tool that could be used, but as a place of experimentation, and where you could use a lot of great analytics tools to understand how well or how not well the experimentation was working, and then adjust your course. And it really shifted me from being worried about it as a social platform, and making it become more of a business tool and a necessary driver of the coaching work I want to do. I think the community and the incredible engagement and depth of relationships that I was able to build in it. I loved how open and welcoming everyone is. And from, the very first engagements, everyone has been so positive and warm, and there's so much also genuine openness about people sharing their experiences, about lessons learned, about hard times that everyone has experienced. Again, shared by those leading the material, but also those in the community. So it felt a very safe space, and that was a surprise. I was expecting to make some professional contacts, to get some some great guidance from experts. But the fact that there was a camaraderie and a community behind it that was so deep is wonderful. And I'm in touch with people every day from the program, and it's like a warm hug and a strong shoulder in the program, and outside of the work and what I'm doing. I know I'm not alone, and I know other people are experiencing the challenges, and I know other people are having great ideas, and they're going to be willing to share. So the community was the kind of the standout surprise. Probably challenging of myself to think about things differently in terms of what I was putting out there. Um, there is the program is quite directive at points, which I think is absolutely appropriate and necessary in terms of, for example, how you would represent yourself within your profile. And it forced me to kind of confront some things that I was holding on to, and to make some calls which were difficult from, again, a perspective of the assumptions or the beliefs that I was holding. They were absolutely the necessary ones, and I felt very well supported to do that. But I was kind of confronted with more than I anticipated being. And so it really made me knuckle down and think about things and make some choices, all while making it clear that no choice is permanent, that there was the opportunity to revisit, to change, and to adapt, but that I needed to start somewhere. So that push and that kind of firm encouragement, and then the support afterwards to look at how well it went, was useful, very useful. And the other thing I'll mention is also, let's say, navigating the systems. There are a lot of things in terms of LinkedIn as a platform, the different tools that were recommended and shared throughout the program, things like Expandy. A lot of them are quite complicated, and they on the surface are very useful business enablers, but the back end systems are not as straightforward as they could be. And so, for example, having Adrian there to kind of work through it and kind of, hold our hands through the process, to share the benefit of his experience, or those who were in the community, past and present, their experiences, was really also really helpful, because that was challenging. And I would say that I'm more technically and digitally competent than maybe the average person, because I worked in a tech background, and there were a lot of places where I just thought, wow, like this is tricky, and I really needed someone to just help me muddle through. So I had both the kind of, let's say, the challenge and the encouragement, but also the kind of the technical expertise and competence, and that was a balance that I didn't quite expect when I signed up for the program. No, no one actively discouraged me, but people asked me if the investment was worth it. And when you are starting a business, or you are at a point in your business where you are not achieving the revenue that you would like, the investment is significant. And when I joined, also, it was a lump sum. There are fantastic kind of monthly subscription offers now, which I would have loved to have kind of taken advantage of. It was a very significant outlay. And while I will say that the practical skills I have derived from the program, and my kind of ability to navigate the systems and to work with LinkedIn, have made that investment worthwhile, the extra added value that make me not even question the cost of it now at the end of the program are the boosts to my confidence, to my belief in what I'm doing, to my ability to kind of plan and see a way forward, as well as the network that I have built now, that I know is going to continue to support me. So while no one actively tried to discourage me, I certainly did agonize over the investment to begin with. And, I did have a number of conversations with my partner, my sister, people I trust, about whether it was the right time to do something like that. And I would say that it absolutely was, because it allowed me to set my business up with a stronger foundation than if I had done it a few years in. I never wanted to quit the program, because that's kind of not in my DNA. But there were definitely times when I felt maybe a bit overwhelmed at some of the actions and decisions I would have to take. And that was, again, kind of confronting those steps that I was not fully resolved to take yet. For example, when I was very firm on my niche from before I joined the program, but how I speak to that niche and how I limit and target my services as a coach, I was forced, and in a good way, to make some decisions and take a direction, probably earlier than I would have had I been working at it on my own. And that was challenging because I had to, I had to do it to progress. But the encouragement really helped to get me, to get me to confront that, to get the work done, but also then to feel confident in doing it. So it, it was nicely supportive and appropriately challenging. The pace of it, of the work that I was doing as part of the wider grow program, which I appreciate we might not be talking about in this sense, but a lot of the elements are in the Unstoppable Linked Coach program. Um, the pace of some of that, just to keep my momentum, to watch the videos, to do the work, was challenging, in trying to also, keep the business ticking over and driving revenue. But again, the calls and the kind of community and the support from Tina, Adrian, and Greg made it possible to kind of get going with that. So, not overwhelming challenge, but definitely, discomfort in a encouraging and productive way. And I will give you a growth one, because
Perfect.
I think the program represents both. So in terms of the biggest win, in terms of where I am at the end of the program, is that I feel much more confident in the direction I'm going and the tools that I can deploy to help me to build a very successful coaching business. And that is behavior, confidence, and soft skill based entirely. I feel that I am equipped with the right knowledge and information. I have the resources and the understanding about what I need to do, and I have the tools to direct my strategy and my growth. And even beyond that, which I would definitely count as a win, is this fantastic community that is there to support me, so that I know that I can continue to be inspired and engaged and supported when times may become hard. In terms of my biggest win, so I had set a target for myself in March, which was when I started the program. So it was at the end of the month, and it was my birthday, and I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and I wanted to make £75,000 this year from my coaching work, and that's about 110,000 Canadian, really roughly there. But I'm definitely on track to do that, which is great. And I've had a couple of £10,000 months, which is great. So I feel that, from a business win, is that I am now regularly receiving new requests for proposals. People are coming to me. I've got a business pipeline. And my last two have come from the LinkedIn work, where someone has seen something I've posted, or kind of engaged with me in that space. And I think that that is massively down to the work that I've done with Unstoppable Linked Coach, and then have either referred me to someone who has become a client, or has approached me directly. So I can absolutely correlate the work I have done in the Unstoppable Linked Coach program with tangible business results. And those are steady, and they're at a significant investment, which, when you're building your business, you want the steadiness to come. So, from a business perspective, I'm definitely getting the value in terms of creating a pipeline of sustainable clients and business. So. My new baseline is I'm busy, and so I have lots of opportunities, and I'm now just trying to be very mindful about those I select, and I'm very grateful for that. I also, my new reality is more structured and more intentional as a result of the program, and my also reality is I have more friends and that kind of connection. So I feel really nicely supported in the out in this endeavor, and that for me is very important. And I'll mention that a bit more specifically, is that I came from a corporate world where I had a big team. I was involved in big cross-functional programs. So I was dealing with many people every day, and that was my reality for 25 years. When you set up your own business, you are largely reliant on yourself, and the interactions you have will either be transactional, you to a client, or someone offering you a service or solution. You don't have that kind of same let's say, community support. So my reality is after a year of being on my own, now that I've done the program and have more of a community, I have business colleagues and contacts and friends again. So my network is, if through this program, is replacing what I experienced in the corporate world. And I don't think I can understate the value of that, because for someone, particularly coaches who may have come from, a different kind of working format or model, that is something that I didn't anticipate would be a challenge or a frustration. And it categorically was. And so my reality now, after having done the program, is I've replaced that. And for me, who's very extroverted and very, I like to engage with others, that is vital to my energy and my ability to focus on the business and to innovate and to be creative. So it does make a significant impact to my current day to day. Let me actually say one other thing that I think is important to hear is I think people will look at the posts. Some people will look at the posts for Tina and Adrian and think, it's gloss. There's no substance to it. And I think it's very worth saying is that my entire experience shows the kind of the authenticity, the genuine investment, and the engagement that everyone, you, Tina, Greg, Adrian, has in the people you're working with and the coaches you're supporting. And if I can, from a marketing background, suggest that those are the things you also really could go after with helping people to know that, because their profiles and their number of followers are so strong. There's a really big number there. So, helping people to really see that it's true, it's honest, it's real. And that is something that I've seen so genuinely that I really believe that they are so invested in everyone's success. And that is spectacular. Thank you, as are you and the whole team. Huge thanks for the whole journey.